This is the story of how I met Jesus. This guy right here. Um, I was 16 years old. It might have been 15. I was a sophomore in high school, and I was in kind of a cross. I was crossing paths of everything in my life that I had ever known. I was an athlete my entire life. I played football. At that current point, I was a JV football player. And the first practice that I had that season, I tore my hamstring. Said I was going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. I ended up being out the whole season. So I was just sitting on the sideline, kind of taking everything in from like the side. And I played baseball my whole life, but this injury obviously pushed me away from sports for a certain time, and I ended up actually quitting football a little, like probably 2 weeks after this night. But yeah, this was kind of a time where I had to kind of find my footing without sports, and I just remember feeling so lost. Like I remember I was a floater friend. I was someone who was there. I had friends, but I didn't have anyone really to hang out with. And I just remember being alone a lot of the time and really just having no place in the world. And typically before I go to bed every single night, I always watch a YouTube video. It's a terrible habit. I'm sure a lot of you guys do it too. You have your phone in your bed and you just scroll or you watch videos, whatever. So this was a typical night. I was watching a YouTube video, ended up rolling over, and typically when I roll over I go to bed, but instead I turned the video off and I just rolled over and I didn't go to bed. I just remember looking up into the ceiling and just kind of thinking. And that was the first time I'd really, been just me and myself and my thoughts for honestly like 3 or 4 years. Like COVID had me so distracted, so locked in on technology that it had been a long time. So that was kind of a moment that was like, it really opened up a lot of opportunity for God to come in. And I just remember talking about every single person in my life. It started with just like things that I was grateful for. I was grateful for my mom. I was just talking about the things that were going on in her life, and I was just like, I hope that she gets strength and protection through all of this, I had never known God before this. I want to make that very clear. Like I didn't grow up in a religious household. We didn't go to church. We were Christian, but I didn't own a Bible. I'd never read a Bible in my life, and frankly, I'd never prayed before. So I'm looking up into the ceiling, just kind of pouring my heart out, talking to myself, and I kept going. I remember talking about my dad, talking about my brother, talking about both sides of my family, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents. And I just remember talking about where every single person was in their life, the amount of things that are happening. And it's just like, there's so many different perspectives going on in my circle that it just blew my mind. And I remember specifically like just talking about my family on my mom's side and just like being moved to tears because there was just so much going on, and I was just filled with this spirit that I can't describe, that you have to know it to explain it. And all I can say it was a spiritual awakening, and it was something that I can never in a million years um, allow for somebody to feel that. Like, you can't share that with someone. That is something that is God given. And the Lord met me in that moment. And when I was talking, I was vulnerable, and I was talking about things that I was grateful for. I was talking about my family. I was talking about my life on earth. I was talking about the girl that I really, really liked at that time. I was talking about her family. I was talking about so many things on earth, and just wishing for things to be good. And I was encountered by a love, by a patience, by a trusting and calming voice. It felt like a hug, the warmest hug ever. And it was in a time that I needed a hug most. And I remember crying, not knowing why I was crying, but I cried. And I hadn't cried in probably 6 years. And it wasn't a sad cry, it was a cry of just comfort and being heard and being felt. And it makes so much more sense now, knowing Jesus. This was in 2021, it's 2026 now. I've been a Christian for 5 years, and Jesus has saved my life. The night that he showed himself to me, it took me probably 2 weeks to realize that night that I was talking over everybody in my life and I was moved to tears, that was a prayer. And I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. But what do you know, on TikTok, my For You page was just like starting to get flooded with like, can I pray for you? And like live videos of people that are talking about God and talking about the Bible. And I remember buying a Bible on Amazon like that winter and just being like ashamed of it, because like I didn't even ask my mom. I just kind of bought it like low key, and she probably thought it was a scam. She probably thought someone bought it just off her credit card, which I did, and had it delivered to the house. But yeah, I bought a Bible. I remember my brother caught me reading it. I don't know why I'm saying caught me. I was such an ashamed Christian, and now it's like so much different. But yeah, God just moves. He really, really moves. And it takes a second of just being alone, of letting go your control, of letting go of entertainment, of letting go of whatever you are going through in this moment, and just opening up and being vulnerable and being open and being honest. And if you're in a season right now where you're struggling to find your footing, where you're struggling to find who you are, go be alone. Go find a place, find a time, find whatever to just find yourself. Go for a walk. Listen to music that isn't like messing your brain up. Like, honestly, listen to ocean waves. Well, whatever it is that clears your mind, there's so much stuff out there that can help you out to find God. And I'm so blessed to know the Lord now and have him as my Lord and Savior. And I think for everybody it is possible, because he loves so deeply, he loves so hard, and he's here for every single one of us. And the same thing that happened to me, I truly believe it can happen to anyone else. It can happen to you, it can happen to your family. That love is free. The Bible is always open. It is never locked. And talking to God, man, he always has open ears. Anything that you want to hear from him, anything that you want to learn about him, it is in the Word. But I didn't read a Bible for over a year, and I had a relationship with God, so it's about the relationship. Always put the relationship first, but just continuously grow. and learn from him. And yeah, Jesus saves, man. That's it.